Hi guys, I recently posted a video talk saying that I'm ready to talk about some of my prison experiences and my experiences of having become schizophrenic. I spent 8 years of my youth in jail between the age of 15 and 24 for crimes including robbery, aggravated burglary, GBH. I want to talk about the most shocking violence I saw in prison, which was when I was in Camp Hill prison on the Isle of Wight. When I was 21, I was there 16 months till I was 22. I went there in the late 1990, where is it? Uh, 1989, and I left there. I was released near the end of 1990. The first day I went on exercise in Camp Hill, I saw two guys fighting on the yard, and one of them suddenly pulled out a knife and he stabbed the other guy in the stomach and stabbed him in the head. Everyone was watching, including the screws, and I thought, oh, they're going to press the riot bell and all the screws are going to come running out onto the yard, grab these two people that had been fighting. But they didn't do anything, they didn't press the bell or anything. And I realised then that in a prison like that, where people sometimes get stabbed, the prison officers are not going to rush to break up fights if people got knives on them, because they're not going to risk getting stabbed themselves. So what they'll normally do is wait till the inmates are back in their cell, and then a group of them will take the inmates away one at a time. So I realised that if I ever got in serious trouble in Camp Hill and serious violence, all I could rely on was myself. The screws are not going to save you. About 2 or 3 weeks later, there was another stabbing incident. A guy that had just come on the wing, who was a big guy, really muscular, who was really loud. He got into an argument with the hot plate workers. The hot plate people are the people that serve the food, and he got into an argument. He wanted an extra tomato, and as I say, then he started arguing with the hot plate people, and then later on, when the cells were unlocked for association, three hot plate workers, they went into this new guy's cell and they stabbed him 11 times. And I saw the inmate being led off the wing by the screws, taken to the hospital wing. When he was going off the landing, he was topless, and I could see the stab wounds in his back that was bleeding, and his arm. I could see some of the stab wounds because the blood was running from them. So that was quite shocking. But I think the most shocking thing I saw there when I was there was towards the end of 1990, shortly before I got released. I was in the communal shower one day. Everyone was unlocked for association, and there was another guy in the shower, and he had his back. He was facing the shower wall, the tiled wall, so he couldn't see behind him. And I was a couple of showers down from him. And then another guy walked in the shower, and he kind of like waved me on to move away from this other guy that was showering. So I moved away another few showers, and the other guy that's showering still had his back towards this guy that had walked in. And the guy that had walked in had a big jug of boiling hot water, and he suddenly threw it over this guy's back. And the guy in the shower, he screamed like a wounded animal, and he fell to the floor, and he was just kind of whimpering in shock. And because he'd screamed, inmates on association and the screws come running into the shower. By that time, the guy's just laying on the floor, just completely shocked and in extreme physical pain. So the screws lifted him up, and they took him away, took him to the hospital wing, and I just carried on showering like nothing had happened. But I remember thinking, feeling so depressed, thinking, wow, I just felt numb, thinking, wow, nothing can shock me anymore. I've seen it all now. and that really stayed with me. Those few incidences, and yes, yeah, it's quite shocking, and I'm glad I've spoke about these things now.